Hey guys, came over to the Vampire Diaries, Season 8, Episode 2. Today will be different, and I was definitely really looking forward to this episode. As you guys know, I actually really enjoyed the season premiere, mainly because of the fact that it is the final season, and I know that this episode I am 2 weeks behind, and last season I would have just said, fuck it, I'll watch the end of the season when that happens, but this is the final season. I really want to keep up to date with it, and it's a good thing I did because, like I told you guys, I'm really enjoying the season so far. I really enjoyed this episode. I think that things actually are feeling very final, and you can tell they're really pulling out, I think, all the stops for this final season. That's something that I'm very happy to see. Let's just get lowest death ever. She tells him that she has learned that if they remain calm, they taste better. Damon sarcastically tells her that every time they brought her people before, they were in full freakout mode. She then says the fear is delicious and brings the man out of his trance and watches him drown, terrified. Really well done scene. I mean, this was honestly really creepy way to start the episode, but it really did show how much regrets they're not really having, how limitless that this character really is, and I thought it did a really good job of setting this up, showing where we're really going with this overall, and definitely I'm really liking what I'm seeing of Damon and Enzo, and Sybil, I think her name is so far. So we get another scene where Caroline's writing to Elena. I'm assuming we're going to get a lot more of this season. It was kind of like a narrative device that went in and out last season. Like last season, sometimes she wrote to Elena, then sometimes it was Bonnie. But I like that we are seeing them write to Elena. It's reminding us that Elena is still part of the show. I don't know if Nina Dobrev is still part of the show because of conflicts that's going on with her and Ian Somerhalder, but Elena is still a part of the show, and I like that. And they're writing to her to let her know that Bonnie has heard somewhat from Enzo. She tells her it wasn't actually a love note, but close enough. She continues to tell her she's officially moved in with Stefan, and she absolutely loves it. And some reason I didn't pick up on the fact that Stefan and Caroline are in fact together and everything, which I like seeing. She says the house needs work. Stefan's happy to comply, although she isn't sure he's breaking down walls for renovations or if it's out of frustration over losing Damon's trail again, which I think it's a little bit of both. Remember, Stefan's under the impression that Damon wants to be there and that he is against Stefan at all costs, so he obviously is kind of pissed about that. But Caroline tells her that they have not received any more unwelcomed house guests, but Alaric isn't taking any chances. He's working at home. He's determined to find out who it was, because as we know, someone did break into their house, and both are happy that the twins have no idea there were any kind of danger. Caroline's surprisingly calm when Alaric mentions Seline. As we know, Seline is the babysitter that he clearly finds very attractive, attractive, and Seline brings Alaric paperwork for the girls' trip, and she also asks about being overpaid, but Alaric tells her that they need to give her a raise. And I do like the way that this is going. I don't know if this is going in a Joe direction, because I kind of always want Alaric with someone like that. I've never really liked Alaric and Caroline together. I just found it weird that this is the caretaker of Elena, and now Caroline's with him. I mean, yeah, obviously they've had children together, but you can tell this is not really a relationship anymore. This is just more of them being parents, and I like that. I like that they're not in a relationship. It would feel weird if they did, and I like that Alaric already seems to have eyes for Seline. I like that. So Damon's sleeping and dreaming about seeing Catherine, and he keeps going back to his memory when he first met Elena, and again, it's a really good way of recalling events from Season 1, which is, I think, something a final season should do. And Damon sleeps. The siren attempts to get Enzo under her spell. He tells her he has done almost everything for her. She's angry about the almost, tries to read his mind again. It seems like that she's like the manipulator of this all. Like, she's the one in charge. She's the one calling the shots, and I like that. It seemed like it was the Beast, but it seems like she's now the one doing it. And when she can, she tells him she did get a name, which is Sarah Nielsen, and when she questions him about her, he says he doesn't know who she is and doesn't care. Remember that whole storyline Season 6 I wasn't really a fan of? Yeah, Sarah Nielsen's actually back this season, and I'm fine with that. I'm happy that they're bringing her back in the forefront. I never got into Enzo's plot in Season 6, but because he's such a bigger part of the season, now I might actually get into Sarah Nielsen a little bit. If they give him the necessary stuff to do, then maybe I might actually like what they're doing with her. But again, I like seeing that she's in control of all this. I think overall this is very interesting. So Bonnie, Stefan, and Caroline are looking for crimes further away from them, but Bonnie says she hasn't left anymore, because as we know, there's a lot of other stuff going on besides what happened with Enzo and Damon. Stefan tells her that he's playing double agent and may need to stay cool for a while, because he just can't be around Damon right now. He just can't really be in that neck of the woods, because it obviously really does get to him. And Caroline finds a police report about 2 women who had neck wounds, both with the name of Sarah Nielsen, and Stefan says that Enzo has left another clue because there is a Sarah Nielsen living in North Carolina. And of course, we know her real name is Sarah Salvatore and his last living relative, unless Damon gets to her first. So this really makes Stefan worried that, he's going to get to Sarah and that Sarah's going to die. Because Sarah, as we know, is living. She's not a vampire. She is, in fact, alive. And Caroline explains that Stefan has hid Sarah away from everyone, including Damon. But Enzo and Sarah are frenemies, basically. I mean, in a nutshell, they're frenemies, I'd say. They have, like, a weird thing going on in Season 6, as we know. I don't really remember. There was so much shit going on that season that I don't really remember. But Stefan says he's not trying to get into Enzo or Damon's head, only that he is trying to save Sarah. So basically, he's going to do what he can. And I like that we saw that here. He's actually not going to try to get into their head. I thought this was going to be a very repetitive season with that. But I like that for right now, Stefan seems like that is very secondary. He knows he's not really going to get through to them. So he needs to focus more on saving Sarah, because that's really what matters. I mean, they have this girl in danger who is, in fact, related to them. Obviously, this is kind of a problem. So Alaric's back at the armory. His assistant, Georgie, is there. He informs her that he's working on sirens, and he found a book from Harvey who claims that he was hearing the voice of a siren back in 1790. So I thought that was very interesting, and we know siren Sybil, Natalie Kelly's character, is, I think, who he's talking about, but we'll have to see. Enzo and Damon discuss why Enzo is resisting instructions, because he doesn't really seem to be following all of Sybil's orders, and we don't really know why. But he tells Damon he is there with him in North Carolina, stalking Sarah Nielsen, but he wants to know what their boss lady's all about, what is her grand plan, because they don't really trust her, and I like that. I like that even though they seem to be under the guise of her control, to her they are completely under her control. In reality, they really are only doing this to get into her head, I think. I think they really don't know what her endgame is, and Damon says he isn't afraid of her. He's just afraid of the eternal damnation she showed him in his mind. Enzo tells him it is all mind games, and it's not true. Nothing that she's showing him is true. Obviously, Catherine's not there. Obviously, Elena's not there. This is all just mind games, and Damon then jumps up when he sees Sarah approaching them, but before Damon could do anything, Enzo introduces Damon as Damon Salvatore, and they asked if they could speak in private. Enzo taught her how to defend herself. She stabs Damon with verbena, and verbane, and Enzo tells her that she needs to pack her stuff and get out of town. But as they enter her dorm room, Stefan, Caroline, and Bonnie are there. When Enzo sees Bonnie, he says, "Hello, love," and it was just such a cool reunion the way that was done. I love seeing Enzo and Bonnie reunited. We didn't get to see a ton of their relationships, so I like that we are seeing a little bit of them here. I thought that was pretty good. But Alaric then keeps watching his phone. Georgie asks if he is waiting on a call. He says he's waiting to hear from Seline. She taunts him about his hot nanny. He says in 1790 the armory received a mysterious shipment from the town of Mystic Falls. The crate was placed in the vault for safety, and some of the artifacts were from 2020 BC. Oh, actually, no, I'm wrong about that. That's a lie. It's actually 2020 BC. I can't pronounce numbers for the life of me. 22,000, I don't fucking know. But Georgie makes fun of him about the siren, and Caroline then calls Alaric and tells him that Enzo is fighting mind control and won't even look at Bonnie because, again, they feel that he's under mind control and everything. I think it's really because, again, they're doing what they can to protect their loved ones, and if they let Sybil know that Enzo likes Bonnie and that Damon, was friends with Bonnie and that Stefan's his brother, she's gonna come after them, and they know that. But Enzo tells Bonnie about Sybil and how him and Damon are stuck serving her. Bonnie wants to know what her weakness is, and when Enzo says he has to return her soon, Bonnie grabs his hand, tells him that he's safe now. He pulls away, tells her he isn't allowed to think about how important she is to him, because if he does, she will be the one the siren wants dead. He can't really say anything. So obviously they have to keep this a secret, and I like that he at least told her that. This isn't something where Bonnie doesn't know really what's going on. I like that for the most part, she knows that this is all, just him trying to protect her. I like seeing that. I did like the way that was done. But Sarah then talks to Stefan, who wants her to be a little less pissed at him. Sarah's upset that Stefan compelled and lied to her. She only trusts Enzo, which is understandable. I mean, they have something, definitely. Bonnie stabs Enzo with Verbane, kidnaps him herself, and Damon steals Caroline's daylight ring, crushes her phone, and when Caroline asks him what he's doing, he tells her he was told to have fun, and she obviously doesn't know what's going on. But Sarah's still with Stefan. When Damon crashes through the window, he's actually ready to kill Sarah. Like, right off the bat there, he wants to kill Sarah. And when Stefan tells him that Sarah is actually their Uncle Zach's daughter, I don't know if this is something that Damon forgot, but, Sarah did forget who he was, if you remember, but of course, as we know, this is their Uncle Zach's daughter, who Zach, of course, did die, and Alaric comes to find George, which, again, that is a connection to Season 1. Zach was in Season 1. I didn't watch a lot of Season 1, but I do know that Zach was in Season 1. I definitely did do my research there. So Alaric comes to find George. He wants to know why that symbol freaked her out. She shows that the symbol is tattooed into her body. Alaric asks her what the story is. She asks him if he believes in hell. He asks her how she knows about the symbol, and she tells him she saw it when she was dead, and we then see that this flashback where a few years ago she was driving home with a friend but texting and drunk. She drove across the yellow line, which I don't know why. I mean, obviously you're drunk, that's why you shouldn't do that thing, but she doesn't remember the crash, but remembers waking up in a place that was filled with pain, loneliness, and fear, and in the middle of it all she could see the symbol, and the EMTs revived her. She said she spent a year in prison and all she studied was hell and everything she could learn about it, and already this is a much more compelling character than I think any new character we had in Season 7. I like the way they're really developing this character. I like this character, Georgie. Alaric says that she solved a piece of the puzzle, doesn't think that she's crazy at all, and I like that she seems to be extremely platonic. Like, this doesn't seem to be like something where they're going to be in a relationship. I like that we're getting into the story, and I like the fact that Alaric trusts her. I like the way this is going so far, and I like finding out more about Georgie. This was the problem with the characters, I think, last season, is that they just really weren't all that great and weren't really that compelling, and already they're developing characters that are so much more compelling, and that's something this season is already doing so much better. One of the many things this season are doing so much better than last season already. So Bonnie's in driving with Enzo in the back, told her that she will take him as far away from the siren as she can. He starts to bleed, hold his head. He tells her that she's on attack and they're bonded by their minds. Bonnie refused to leave him, and he admits that she never lost him, but the longer he stays with her, the more dangerous it is for her, because the greater of a chance Sybil is going to come after her. He begs her to let him go, so he knows, deep down, he can't just keep hiding. He needs to get back to Sybil. He's basically a slave to her, and he has no choice but to listen to her orders, or else she's going to come after them. So Damon and Stefan continue to argue. Stefan begs him not to kill Sarah for Elena and for him. He lets Sarah go, tells her to run. Sarah runs out the door. I think in good conscience, Damon just couldn't kill her. I think deep down he wasn't going to do it either. Like, I think he just wants to make Stefan think that this is who he is when really he's not. Stefan tries to feed her blood to revive her, but the siren takes control of Stefan's mind, asking Damon who Elena is, and Caroline's in stabbed in the back, but she sees her daylight ring, tries to grab it. Stefan can't move. The siren's pressing his head to see what his connection to Elena is. She sees his memories of him meeting her and says that she can fix this. Really well done scene. I think we've seen that scene about 80 times so far in the show. I mean, we see this scene scene all the time with Damon being Elena, him mistaking her for Catherine, and her saying that she's Elena. Just, we've seen that so many times, but for some reason, it never gets old. I really do like the way that was done. I will admit, Vampire Diaries was a really cheesy show in season 1, but I do like the way they were calling back to season 1. In fact, I wasn't the hugest fan of season 1, as you guys know, but he thanks Damon for letting her take a peek. She takes over his memory, saying that she is Sybil, so now we officially do know her name. I already knew her name was Sybil, but now we officially know her name. Stefan then begs Damon to help Sarah. He tells him to fight. Damon asks why. Stefan cries that he's sorry when Sarah dies. Damon leaves with Sybil, telling Stefan not to worry about his brother, that she has taken away his last mental refugee and given it a remodel. Stefan says that Damon is a lot stronger than she thinks. She says that he isn't, and that she's under his control. To Sybil, this again is a slave to her, someone that she's imprisoned, and that Stefan essentially has no control over. He can't really do anything about it. So Bonnie returns. She pulls a knife out of Caroline's back. She says she made the mistake of trying to get Enzo out of town. She explains that he isn't safe, and she admits that she couldn't break the siren spell on him and had to let him go. Caroline's upset that this was all for nothing and that they needed Bonnie here with them, which, yeah, they kind of did need her there, and Bonnie said that she had to be with Enzo and try to save him. And I like that Bonnie explained what's going on. There's not a lot of, betrayal going on. She had a life plan with him to come home to him every night and grow old with him, and she wants to stick through to that. And I like that. I like that we're seeing that Bonnie actually wants to be with Enzo, and it makes sense. Bonnie's never really had... Well, there was Jeremy. Of course, we knew that Bonnie and Jeremy had something, but ever since Jeremy, Bonnie really hasn't had a love interest, and Enzo is someone that she could really see herself sticking by. They're both someone who have been through tons of neglect, who have been through tons of shit, and I like that they came together through said neglect, and they came together through all these things happening to them, and I like the way that she wants to stay with him. There isn't a lot of, oh, I hate Enzo, I don't want anything to do with him. I like that already she seems like she genuinely wants to be with Enzo, and I think, again, that's something that this season's doing really well, is already giving more for Bonnie and Enzo to do, and showing me why I should care about them as much as the show wants me to. So Caroline thinks Bonnie went rogue because she's jealous and angry that Stefan and Caroline are happy, but Bonnie tells her she's happy for them, but she's so alone without Enzo that she just wants to die. She doesn't want to be without Enzo, and Caroline asks her if that's how she really feels. Bonnie says she really hates herself for feeling that way, but it's all true. She can't do anything about it. So Caroline tells her she isn't alone, and I like this scene. A lot of people complained last season, and I will agree with this. Caroline and Bonnie are supposed to be best friends, as we know. Elena, Caroline, and Bonnie, that was the original pairing in the show. Those three have always been so tight, and we barely had any scenes between Caroline and Bonnie last season, and I like that they're giving them actual scenes here, because Caroline is her friend, she should act like her friend, and Caroline basically tells her that she isn't alone, she's sorry for being a terrible friend, she's there for her. Bonnie tells her this is none of her fault, and Caroline promises that together they will save Enzo. Caroline says that Bonnie's happiness is part of her happiness, and she's gonna fix this for both of them. Stefan comes out, they learn that Sarah's actually dead, and Seline is then home with the twins when Alaric comes home, says he's sorry for being late, ruining her evening. Alaric tells Seline that everything is happening at work, and when she asks how he knew where his intern's secret tattoo was, he said that it was all research, and Georgie's on the phone. He says goodnight to Seline. As we know, wasn't that, he did in fact work with Georgie. Georgie tells Alaric that she found something from the Midsummer's Day 1790. She says the artifact she found has the identical symbol as her tattoo. She believes that it was actually made in hell, and I don't know if we're actually going to legit hell this season, but if that's where we're headed, that is a really cool direction that the show really hasn't tackled before, and I hope that we actually go there. But anyway, Enzo returns to Sybil, and Damon grabs Enzo's heart while Sybil attempts to get into his mind. This time, she sees Bonnie and Enzo kissing, and Enzo promises he will never stop fighting. He will break the oceans and sail past the sirens to find her way back to her, and Sybil asks Enzo why he hasn't seen her before, and obviously this is really going to become a problem. If Sybil knows that Enzo and Bonnie have any sort of connection, she will in fact go after Bonnie. And I know a lot of people are thinking that Bonnie is going to die this season. There was that report that Kat Graham is going to leave the show. I'm definitely starting to believe it. I think that Bonnie probably is going to die this season. The poster for the season is everyone at some sort of funeral, and we don't know who it's for. I'm thinking that it's going to be for Bonnie. That's just what I think. I don't know if that's true, but that's where I think we're going with this. But Stefan's very distraught. Caroline tells him he needs to talk about it, not to keep it to himself. He said he has to. He's the last Salvatore standing, and any blood relative he had or knew are all now gone. And Stefan says he is the reason every single Salvatore is dead. Caroline reminds him that Damon is not gone, and Stefan says he's gone and belongs to the siren now. Caroline tells him not to give up hope, and we get kind of a cheesy scene, but I think a very well-earned scene where Stefan wants to show Caroline something. He shows her that he's converting some of the rooms for the twins so they can sleep side by side. There's an antique dresser there, and he tells her to check it out. When she opens the drawer there's a ring box in it. He says that it's for her. He tells her that he was hoping she would wear it. Caroline asks him, like, what, as a friendship ring. He asks her if he really needs to say it. This part was cheesy, but overall was a well-done scene, and basically he essentially does ask her to marry him, and she kisses him, tells him to get to the point. Caroline smiles and says yes, and now Caroline and Stefan are engaged, and that is the way this episode ends. Really great stuff overall. Let's just get into this episode and where I think the rest of the season really is headed. So, while I am someone that was once head over heels for Caroline and Stefan, and last season really didn't care as much about them because they didn't really show them be a couple, that's what I like about this, is that they're actually showing them be a couple. I mean, when you have a couple in the show, you should in fact be a couple, and I think they're doing a good job of showing that these two are in fact a couple, that they're going to act like a couple, and I like that. I like that these two are in fact engaged. Now, I don't know if the wedding is going to happen, but I hope that it does go well for them. I'm rooting for Caroline and Stefan overall, and I think it's a good direction for the show to go. And I mean, Stefan's always wanted to be with someone. He couldn't be with Elena. Caroline, I think, is the perfect person for him. They work very well together. And Paul, Wesley, and I think, Paul Wesley and Candace Acola have always had really good chemistry, and I think this is a very good example of that. But I really did love seeing that scene. I thought that was very well done, and I like seeing that those two are sticking by each other's side. And I like that Caroline and Bonnie are also sticking by each other's side. Something that we just didn't really see last season that I like. I'm really liking Sybil so far, though. Sybil, I think, is very intimidating. Sybil's also very sexy, and she's someone who you can very easily get under your skin. I mean, you can obviously tell why Sybil is a master manipulator. She's extremely attractive. She's extremely, creepy, and she will take away anyone that you care about, which is, again, very, very creepy to think about. So I like the way that Sybil's getting a lot of stuff to do, and I like the direction that things are going with Enzo. I mean, if Enzo keeps this up, Bonnie's gonna die. He needs to realize that Bonnie is going to die, and Sybil is definitely going to come after her. So I really don't see Bonnie living past this. I think Enzo, he will try to do what he can to cover this up, but Sybil already knows. Sybil has an intuition that there's someone in Enzo's life, and if she knows who that is, she's definitely going to go after them, and I'm definitely interested in seeing where that's going to go. Sarah died, as we know. I thought that was a good way of killing off, the last link of the Salvatore family. It just felt very final, and that's something I like about this season, is that things do feel final, and that's a perfect example of that. Georgie and Alaric, I like the direction this is going, but if we really are headed into hell, that's very interesting. I mean, Alaric, clearly, he's seeing sirens as well, and I like that there's no sort of, romantic stuff between Georgie and Alaric. I just feel that would be dumb if they did that. Georgie, to me, I don't know if she's a lesbian, but she kind of seems like a lesbian. I don't want to say she is, because I don't want to sound like I'm homophobic or something, because I'm not. I mean, I very much care about those kind of people. Hell, I know people like that, but Georgie, to me, does not seem like someone that would like Alaric, and I like that. I like that these two seem to be friends. I like the way he respects her for that. I really did like the way all of that turned out. And as far as Seline and Alaric, I like the way that Alaric has Seline. I don't know if these two are going to get together. I'm predicting they're going to be together by the end of the show, but we'll have to see. I like the direction that we're headed with them right now. I think overall that's very interesting. And I like that Bonnie now knows the reason why Enzo can't be with her. This isn't something where she feels like he's betraying her or anything. I like that right now she knows why they can't be together, because there's a very good reason why. I mean, obviously, if they're together, bad shit is going to happen, and she needs to realize that. And I like the direction that all this is going. And overall, guys, I'm really enjoying this season so far. I really do love where this is going. But that's my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I have to give a huge shout out. Let me just say right off the bat that, guys, yesterday was a really good day. I went onto Instagram, and I saw, these 5 people follow my Instagram, and it turns out that these people actually aren't just, I thought they were, freshmen that went to my school or something like that, because that happens to me all the time, but they're actually not that. These are actually people who watch my videos, believe it or not, in their journalism class, which is a huge honor. I mean, I'm so happy to see that, but I guess they were huge fans of my videos, and I actually ended up Skyping with them last night. It was a pretty cool Skype session. They really are cool people, but let me just give a shout out to them right now. So to Lizzie, Brooke, Sophia, Sam, and Sophie, thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Honestly, I love getting the support. It really does show that I'm doing a great job here. Very happy to see that. I felt so honored hearing all that last night. And they also came up with the fact that since I have fans, I kind of have to have a fan name because, you know, every YouTuber has one. So they came up with the name of the Motherfalkers. That is, I guess, my fan name now. So if you guys watch my videos, I guess you're a Motherfalker. I'm into it. Okay, I will tell you that right now. I'm into it. So I guess we're going to go with the Motherfalkers. But, yeah, so huge thank you to them for both watching my videos and coming up with that awesome fan name, which I probably am going to use now, the Motherfalkers. If you guys watch my videos, I guess you are an honorary Motherfalker. But, either way, guys, thank you guys for watching my videos, and thank all of anyone who else has watched this video. Thank you as well. I don't know if I'll leave any links for them in the description. I don't know if they want me to do that, but I just really want to say thank you for them for, you know, watching my videos and for, you know, commenting and everything. It just is really nice to see people enjoying my content. Really do appreciate that. But that's my review. Hope you enjoy it. We'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for the next episode of the Vampire Diaries. I know we have 2 other episodes to review. I will probably review all 3 today, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.